In this package, People's Democratic Party governorship candidate for Akwa Ibom to build international market in Ika. University of Uyo presents 74 new courses for accreditation by National Universities Commission, and international community assures of conduct of general elections on March 28 and April 11. Details shortly. A very good morning to you and thanks for joining us. My name is Augusta Isien. The People's Democratic Party governorship candidate for Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, says his administration will establish an international market and cosmetics industry in Ika local government area if voted into office. Mr. Emmanuel made the promise while addressing Ika people at a rally to canvass votes for PDP candidates in rescheduled March and April general elections. Etienne Oibanga reports.
Uranyang, venue of the rally for Ika local government area, was kept alive with activities of support groups which gathered there to show solidarity with PDP and all its candidates in the upcoming elections. Unfolding what he called his Valentine gift to the people, Mr. said he voted into his administration will also construct Otomo, Ikorudum, Nto Udenwan, Ikorukang, Nto Panetum, Ikorong, and Ikoropan of young roads. The governorship candidates promised to harness talents of young people in sports through foreign training to honor Vincent Enyema, the Super Eagles goalkeeper who hails from Ika, so as to inspire more youth. Mr. Manuel assured that an entrepreneurial center will be located in Ika, even as mechanized farming will give it a boost. He called on the people of Ika to vote en masse for the PDP in the upcoming elections.
I want to tell you,
Governor Godswill Akpabio, who lays his speech with songs, said his administration has provided quality infrastructure in the state and thanked the people of Ika for the honor done him since assumption of office. He announced contract for the construction of Uranyang Ikorodo Abala Road in Ika local government area.
Signed contract for the construction of Uranyang Ikorodo Abala.
The state chairman of the PDP, Obon, and the director general of the campaign council, Sinkanga Pabio, is the senatorial candidate for Ikorekwene Senatorial District, Mr. Udom Emmanuel for governor, Mr. Imane Kon for Back Federal Constituency, and Mr. Gabriel Itmekbu Ika State Constituency, and called for support. Leaders and political stakeholders in Ika local government area, including the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Woko, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Religious Matters, Katkis Udofia, Chairman A.K. Saka, Dr. Francis Udoikbong, Chairman of Ika, Chief Savior Nyekere, Ika Chapter Chairman PDP, Jonathan, State Officer PDP, Mrs. Victoria Thomas, Dr. Ino Sora, and Youth Representatives, Barrister Otibe Nwo for the PDP.
We have done it before. This is a 100% PDP local government.
In a the National Deputy Chairman, Uche Secondus, said God has used Governor Pabio to transform the state, hence the need for continuity of PDP in the state and in Nigeria.
What Akpabio has done in this state, every son and daughters of Akwa Ibom should be grateful to Almighty God.
Etienne Oibanga reporting.
staff of the Akwa Ibom State Judiciary, whose names appeared on the December 2013 salary voucher but are yet to appear before the Contributory Pension Screening Committee, had to do so on Monday 16th and Tuesday 17th February 2015. A statement signed by the Chief Registrar, Mr. Niek Anakman, indicates that the event is slated for the Multi-Purpose Hall, Judiciary Headquarters, Wellington Basiwe, at 9 o'clock in the morning. The statement advises staff to appear with the identification cards and in person. A 2-day productivity enhancement workshop has been mounted for capacity building for heads of academic, administration departments and units of the University of Uyo. Declaring the 2-day workshop open at the Bartholomew Ebong Entrepreneurial Development Center, Town Campus Annex, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Comfort Ikbo, said heads of departments were grassroots administrators and managers who should be trained for effective service delivery. The story is here presented.
The Vice Chancellor observed that heads of departments and units were major links between the Vice Chancellor, the university management, and the Senate in efficient implementation of Senate's decision for the smooth running of the university, maintaining that participants must be sensitive to the needs of students. Acknowledging the enormous tasks before the heads of departments and units, the Vice Chancellor stated that as custodians of values, they must try to create an enabling environment to promote cross-fertilization of ideas and urge them to consult widely in order to be properly guided in decision-making. The Vice Chancellor enjoined heads of departments and units to embrace the mission and vision of the university and to endeavor to lead by example. Professor Ikbo reminded the participants of the cardinal responsibilities of all academic staff in the university, which he noted was to teach, assess, and evaluate students' performances.
When you are taking over from your former head of department, don't sign the handover note. On site it, let him or her give you the status of all the students' results.
Earlier in his remarks, the Chancellor Administration and organizer of the workshop, Professor Trenchard Ibia, said the 2-day productivity enhancement workshop for heads of departments and units was designed to train and retrain participants to solve problems relating to students' needs and the general administration of the university.
I want to assure you that as you continue to partner with us, we will work hard to make improvement as a university.
The University of Uyo has presented 74 new courses and few older ones to the National Universities Commission for accreditation. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Comfort Ikbo, who stated this during a media chat, said 98% of the university's academic programs were accredited during the NUC's last visit. She said that based on the institution's rating, the management was sure that the 74 programs would be accredited by the Commission. Professor Ikbo explained that the university would continue to improve on its academic performance in line with the global best practices and announced that all postgraduate programs in the faculties of Business Administration and Social Sciences have been accredited. She cautioned land speculators against trespassing on the university's property, stressing that the law would soon take its full course if such happened, and appealed to eminent Nigerians, especially Akwa Ibom people, for financial assistance to indigent but academically outstanding students of the institution. The Land Use and Allocation Committee Uyo has published names of applicants for certificates of occupancy for the months of September to December 2014 for various plots of land in 11 local environment areas. These include Uyo, Itu, Ibesikwa Sultan, Nsaribum, Ikotekmene, Ibionibum, Uran, Oron, Abak, Itinan, and Eket. A statement from the committee says names of applicants have been pasted on notice boards of the Land Use and Allocation Committee Secretariat, Block 3, 2nd floor, Idong Senkanga Secretariat to you. The Executive Secretary of the committee, Mr. Mfone Temuwe, advised the public to visit the Secretariat with a view of raising objections against any wrongful claims. The Land Use and Allocation Committee, he said, will commence processing of the applications for issuance of certificates of occupancy within 28 days. Any objection accompanied by relevant documents, he said, should be addressed to the Executive Secretary, Land Use and Allocation Committee, Block 3, Idong Senkanga Secretariat to you, not later than 28 days with effect from the date of this publication. Mob groups have continued to organize prayer sessions for peaceful elections in the country as the general elections draw nearer. The latest is the Friends of Udom Emmanuel Success Movement, which members came together to pray for the success of the general elections in the country. Patience John reports that the prayer meeting took place at the Unity Park, Udom Avenue. Here's her report.
The solemn assembly organized by the prayer and choral wing of the Friends of Udom Emmanuel Success Movement drew supporters of Udom Emmanuel and clerics from different church denominations. The amalgamated voices set the ball rolling.
With my soul. It is well with my soul. Oh, it is well. It is well with my soul. Oh, it is well with my soul.
The international president of Friends of Udom Emmanuel Success Movement, Elder Ime Ataide, said the socio-political group with over 500 members has chapters in all the local government areas of the state. He explained that the group aims at supporting the PDP governorship candidate, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, and other PDP candidates succeed at the polls during general elections. He expressed the hope that the period would be violence-free. Elder Taide also appealed to all to partner the group and pray for God's intervention in the state, as well as the victory of President Goodluck Jonathan at the polls.
Both for campaign, both for prayers and songs to attract the presence of God in favor of Udom Emmanuel. That is why we now institute amalgamated voices for that.
The Reverend Favor Okokon of the Anointed City Church in a sermon said God is always involved in the choice of a leader, saying that the state requires a man who is humble and focused. The Reverend Okokon, who described Mr. Udom Emmanuel as God's choice, expressed the hope that when elected, the PDP candidate will consolidate on the foundation laid by the present administration.
In every dispensation that God will send leaders, He sends those leaders pertaining to the current situation at that time.
A senior special assistant to the governor on education matters, Mr. Nsoko, represented by Mrs. Monica Mkpokpo, and a former chairman of Oran Legal Government, Dr. Eventus Edem, appreciated the group for the face of God in the affairs of the state and country. They described Governor Akpabio as one who has transformed the state to an enviable site, and for support for all the PDP candidates in the state and President Goodluck Jonathan.
Vote for PDP, Udom Emmanuel and others, especially our own dear President Goodluck Jonathan.
We are to ensure that we have free and fair election, and ultimately the right man for the job wins.
The Chairman Central Working Committee and Director of Programs of the Amalgamated Voices, Dr. Usoro Okono, expressed confidence in Udom Emmanuel to lead the state, especially in the areas of human development and industrialization. Dr. Okono also encouraged members of the group to get their PVCs to enable them vote during the elections. Prayer Pastor Isienukwe were offered for peace in the country. John. reporting.
You're watching AKBC News at Dawn. If you're just joining us, we told you earlier that the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate for Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, has promised the people of Ika that if voted into power, he will build the international market and the cosmetic industry. We also told you that the University of Uyo has presented 74 new courses and older ones for accreditation by National Universities Commission. And when we come back after the break, we have a report that the international community has assured of the conduct of general elections on March 28 and April 11. Just stay on with us.
Campaign. Therefore, it's a man military. When finally, His Excellency Agapo military, they can be not a tire of the Moses. When you look at what you get, I get a way on Joseph and the Panda, and I know for fellowship. At the amount of one room, still, I don't want to get to the amount of the when they make a full of it. Oh, Roma gets a full of the somebody in a man. Is that the army?
Udom is right and fair. For Udom is the best. For Akwa Ibom said, Udom is right and fair. Behold our next governor.
You're welcome back. The Akwa Ibom State government, through its lunatic evacuation program, evacuated more than 120 lunatics and destitutes off the streets of Uyo and other local government areas in 2014. The Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Gloria Det, gave the figure at the psychiatric hospital Eket, where 56 lunatics were certified medically fit by psychiatric doctors. Dr. Edeto was represented by the head Department of Social Welfare in the ministry, Mrs. Mercy Upon, said government programs and policies were not only aimed at meeting the needs of other less privileged persons, but for others, including destitutes and lunatics. She commended the Akpabio administration for its support for the program and foresight in human development, and advised those who have recovered to desist from poor and bad lifestyle that may lead to relapse of into their former state, even as she enjoined them to go for regular checkup.
You can recognize how mentally ill people used to look like, but now here they are. It is not because the Minister of Women Affairs alone can function very well. It is just courtesy of our able governor. That is why it is so successful.
The Chief Medical Superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Mfoni Banga, represented by the Chief Nursing Officer, Mr. Udoite, maintained that the 2014-2015 evacuation and treatment of lunatics have yielded positive results. A report by the Prevention Dentistry Department of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, has revealed that more than 90% of Nigerians have dental caries, otherwise known as tooth decay. This is by far worse than the global average of 35%. The worrisome aspect of these is that majority of the cases are left untreated, resulting in severe pain, tooth loss, and sometimes complications that could lead to death, especially for those with low immunity. The report further stated that periodontal dental disease or gum infection has been found in the range of 79 to 90% of the total population, and indicated that this might lead to increased morbidity in the nation. Although this study was conducted more than 20 years ago, it is still relevant as little has changed since then. These dismal statistics are a direct reflection of the poor state of the nation's healthcare system. It is reported that Nigeria is among countries with the lowest life expectancy in the world at a bleak 52 years. Nigeria also still has one of the highest maternal and infant mortality rates in the world. Experts say even with these figures, successive governments have failed to upgrade the healthcare delivery system in the country, especially in the rural areas where the situation is dire. President Goodluck Jonathan has assured the international community that the 2015 general elections will be conducted on March 28 and April 11, 2015. In the United States, President Barack Obama has signed the Cybersecurity Executive Order. These and more in a national and foreign news segment with Marcia Kera.
Jonathan has assured the international community that the 2015 general elections will be conducted on March 28 and April 11. Jonathan gave the assurance when he hosted members of the Diplomatic Corps at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to the President, the shift in date of the should not be translated to mean security forces in the country will completely crush before the general begin as insinuated.
For now, about 3 states are in the enclave of Boko Haram where conducting elections may be difficult, but this period will give them the opportunity to clean up the 3 states. So when this is security issues, it was not limited to Boko Haram. And the security people didn't say that we must wipe out Boko Haram before elections could be conducted, no. Even in 2011, when elections were conducted, we still were Boko Haram, and elections were conducted. So we will surely conduct it as scheduled. On 29th of May, there will be an inauguration.
And now to the National Business Report. Developments in the foreign exchange market are putting the Central Bank of Nigeria under intense pressure to further devalue the Naira. The Naira hit a low of 206.60 against the dollar Thursday at the markets, and dealers electronic trading. Meanwhile, more reports indicated that the Naira may likely continue to fall next week as investors worry over the postponement of the general elections and its impact on the country's economy. Moving on to the foreign scene, United States President Barack Obama has signed an executive order encouraging tech firms to share with each other and the U.S. government. The executive order was signed at a summit on consumer protection. The summit's goal is that government and business leaders in the United States to share more information on how to protect the government and tech firms against cyber attacks. Fighting in Ukraine has intensified. The ceasefire scheduled for midnight Sunday. More than a dozen civilians were said to have died in shelling on Friday in Donetsk and Luhansk regions, while about 30 personnel have been killed and 23 wounded. The presidents of France, Russia and Ukraine, as well as German Chancellor, who together clinched the agreement in Minsk, are due to discuss the issue before the Sunday midnight ceasefire. United Nations Security Council will also in an emergency session on Sunday. Ukraine expressed fears that the might not be accomplished as Russia's offensive operations have intensified. Canadian say they have foiled an alleged plot to Valentine's Day in public place. Reports suggest that the alleged plotters were on a team and were obsessed with death, commit suicide after killing as many people as possible. Canada has been on alert since October's deadly attack at its building in Ottawa. All of the Aam Aadmi Party (AAP) has been as the Indian capital's chief minister. This took place at an open ground, the Ramlila Maidan, in front of thousands of supporters. The anti-corruption activists had to end Delhi's VIP that positions about citizens, for instance, allowing them to the gridlocked city traffic.
Thank you, Mercy. You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45U or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. And that's a package, but just before we go, another look at the top stories. The People's Democratic Party governorship candidate for Akwa Ibom, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, has promised to build an international market in Ika. He was speaking in Ika at a PDP campaign rally. That's a package. We'll be back at 8. Do join us then. Until then, do have a blessed Sunday.